Hello and welcome back to Speak Life for Single Moms. And I'm going to actually start calling y'all Speak Life Sisters because that's what I really want this to be, a community of moms who are just trying to make the best out of their situation in life. And while you grow in your faith, build good habits, and enjoy motherhood at the same time. And I'm really excited. So before we get into today's episode, I want to remind you that the Chaos to Calm workshop is going to be live for the second time starting March 23rd, and it will go through March 27th. So it's a free 5-day workshop. And so for those of you who have not completed the workshop before, I just want to share that it will completely change the way that you see building a routine, establishing good habits, and just the way that you manage your time. And so I currently use this framework to this day because it never fails to help keep me intentional and attentive to what's important in my home and life. And so today I want to talk about maybe some fears that you have about trying to create a system or a routine that works well with your life. And so the first fear that I want to talk about is what if it takes too long? This is something I used to ask myself. And my answer to that is, well, what are you going to be doing anyways? And I'm not saying that to be sarcastic, but you've made it this far in life and you're now at the point where you're either really aware or super aware that something needs to change and you're tired of the same old routine, having the same year and nothing changes. And maybe you see other people getting promotions, they're getting married, they're buying a house or reaching other milestones in life. And you're thinking, like, when is it going to be my turn? And I say this lovingly as your big sister. Maybe I'm not like, I don't know, whatever. But you have to start taking the first step for it to be your time. And you have to see that the time that you have now, like, it's not just to go to waste. It's an opportunity to keep growing. And I wouldn't be here today serving single moms and living in the season of life that I have prayed for, which I'm married. We're debt free, and soon we're going to be able to homeschool, which has been a dream of mine, like since I was a single mom. And if it weren't for two things, the first thing is God. And he makes a way in his own beautiful way. And you taking the first step matters. And this is not just like some self-development, self-help guru, do it all on your own strength, pull yourself up by the bootstraps all the time by type of thing. No, not at all. But this is showing you that if you believe that you can become the woman you want to be, the mom you want to be, like, you need to start acting like it. And even if it's just one small thing today, like even if it's putting your phone away right before you go to bed instead of like falling asleep to scrolling or something, I don't know. But the last thing I'll say about this fear of what if it takes too long is that the time is going to pass anyway. And if the time is going to pass anyway, you might as well spend it growing in the areas of your life that you want to grow. And seeing that happen, however long it takes, it will be a life well spent. And if you continue to grow in your faith, grow in motherhood, grow in your health, your finances, all of those things, that's work worth doing. That is time well spent. So that's fear one. The second fear I want to address is what if I fail? And to that, I want to say, well, what are the standards? Like, what standard are you holding yourself to that you're so scared to fail? This life is actually fun in the fact that God gives us creative abilities. Like, we're always growing. We're always able to start something new. Like, we're able to make plans and make goals and get after them. And our heart should be to do it for his glory, right? But through every failure that I personally have had on paper, it might look like a failure to a bunch of other people, but to me, it's a lesson learned. I have more knowledge about a subject when I have failed because of the mistakes I made. And now I know what not to do and how not to make those mistakes again. And that can apply to everything in life. Like, an example to me that might ruffle some feathers, but a failed relationship. The humble thing to do is ask yourself, like, why did this fail? What was in my heart or my mind that led to the failure of this? And I'm not talking about like the tough circumstances of abuse or anything like that. No, no, no. But I remember after becoming a single mom thinking like, what were the relationship patterns that I had that were failures, and like what can I learn from that? Like how can I change, like how can I take steps towards change in my heart and the way that I see things? And so I'm not saying this to condemn you at all, and it may be bringing some things to mind, which is totally okay, but like every failure should lead to a lesson. And if you ask God to show you, like God will give you wisdom about what you can learn from each failure. And James chapter 1 verse 5, if any of you lacks wisdom, ask and it will be given to you. Like he will give that to you. And so if you're worried about failing and creating a routine, maybe your standard is to just get all the things done that you have set up for the day, and you only got two of those things done. Well, guess what? If you failed in getting everything done, there are multiple lessons to be learned. Maybe you had too many things lined up for that day. Maybe you were distracted. Or maybe there were other things that came up, like, hello, sometimes we get sick, sometimes our kids get sick, sometimes a family member has an emergency. And so seeing that failure can actually help you make better decisions for the next day. And what do you do after the next day? You just keep learning and tweaking as you go. You just keep yourself in this mindset of, it will be okay. I can learn from this and we'll do better tomorrow, whatever the case may be. And I tell you that I fail sometimes. Like my struggle area is like avoiding distractions. That is an area that I'm still currently being sanctified in. And sometimes I choose to let my distractions get the best of me. And it's like the middle of the day and I have to reset and pray and ask God to forgive me for giving into that temptation and then going down that rabbit hole. And I have to ask Him to also help me reset my day and to reorder my day, bring focus back into my day. So just remember this. If you have failed in your eyes, ask yourself what you can learn from that failure to to move forward and keep making progress. So the next fear is mom guilt. And maybe you're worried that you're taking time away that you could be spending with your kids. And maybe you already work a whole lot. Maybe you work the night shift and you just feel like you don't see them as much as you should or spend as much quality time with them as you'd like. And so, like, what if creating a routine and blocking off time for yourself just it feels selfish, like it's not right? And what if you could be using that time with your kids? That's a question you might be asking yourself. And so to that, I say it is not selfish to carve 5, 10, or even 20 minutes for yourself. Not at all. But I will say that it will require you to say no to certain things. So, for example, do I love to get up at 5:30 in the morning so that I can have time to make lunches in peace, read my Bible, do a quick workout? It's not always my favorite thing in the world, but I don't feel guilty if my daughter wakes up before her alarm and comes downstairs and sees mommy doing a workout video because she's growing up learning that mommy takes care of her body. Mommy practices self-control. And sometimes if she's up for it, she joins in with me. And sometimes she just sleeps a little longer on the couch, but it's okay. And that's why I'm big about getting your needs in. You'll learn more about that in the workshop, but getting them early in the morning or maybe during your lunch break or maybe after bedtime, like that time is dedicated solely for you. You're not having to be present and show up for your child or children at that time. And for me personally, I learned a long time ago that exercise and fitness, those like that is the main thing I need in my weekly routine. It's like therapy for me. I have to move my body. It's just something I grew up with as a former soccer player, marching band member. Like we actually had a run, which was interesting. And I know that it's good for me. But I want you to find the things that make you say, I need this in my day. For me, another staple that like my day is chaotic unless I have this thing in my day is Bible time and prayer. Even if it's just listening to one chapter while I'm like getting dressed in the morning or on the way back from dropping off in the school car line, like I have to get that time in because the days that I don't do that, again, they become chaotic and unorganized and unintentional and just crazy all over the place. And sometimes they're just spent being distracted by multiple things. And I hate it. I hate it. And so I'm very protective of getting my workout in. I'm very intentional and remember to get my Bible time and prayers in the morning. And sometimes in the afternoon, my daughter likes to go on a bike ride. Well, guess what? I walk around the neighborhood with her. That's more movement. And so there are different ways to get your needs in without feeling the mom guilt. And so for those of you who are maybe more on the creative and artsy side, one, I would like to be more like you. And two, like here's an idea. Maybe you like to draw. Well, you can draw with your children. Like if they see you drawing something beautiful, they learn, wow, my mom is so talented. My mom has abilities. And then they'll want to learn from you. And that's another idea if you want to do something you love while still be present with your kids. And like there's just so many different ways. And I will say this, like if you ask God for wisdom, like God, how can I please give me wisdom on how to make time for myself or to Lord, please give me wisdom to not have mom guilt around taking care of myself. He will give that to you. And so the last thing I'll say about mom guilt is this. You can make time for yourself, but you will have to say no to certain things. Alrighty, we're moving on to the last fear. I never stick to anything. This is one that lights the fire in my bones because I struggled with it for so long. And that fear is that you can never stick to anything. You start and you stop, and then you start again, and then you stop again. And you think, like, why can't I ever finish something I start? And so when it comes to creating a routine, you think, I'm going to create this routine and then I won't actually stick to it and it will make me feel even worse. So why even try? Like, why set myself up for that failure? But I want to tell you, you at least have to try. You need to have the courage to take the first step and try something different because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you keep living life with the same unstructured, unintentional day-to-day routine, then of course you're not going to get where you want to be. Of course you're going to be in the same place that you were last year. And you're not going to become the more present mom I know that you want to be. And there's no progress, there's no change. And so I want to quickly talk about the workshop I created for single moms because like there wasn't anything like it when I really needed it. And I was searching YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. I couldn't find something specifically for the Christian single mom. There's a whole lot of like new age garbage out there. And for me, the foundation is that Jesus is at the center of everything because I knew that if I, as a mom, could spend 5 minutes a day with God, it would change my entire day. And I know that if you could spend at least 5 minutes with the Lord, like it would do the same for you. And like, think about when you're in the car, you turn on the Christian radio, and maybe you've had a hard day, you're overwhelmed about dinner, laundry, maybe your kids' activities in the afternoon, and like, then that one worship song comes on. You start praising God, you start worshiping Him, and suddenly your stress goes down, your anxiety lifts, and you just remember what this is really about. Staying focused on Him, relying on Him, asking Him for help, remembering that you are not alone in this season. So, to my Speak Life sisters who worry about starting something and not sticking with it, I want you to at least try, learn, adjust, try again. That is how resilience is built. That is how your kids see a mom who doesn't give up. And guess what? They learn from that. So if you're worried about something like starting it and then not sticking with it, I want to invite you to join the free 5-day workshop with the link below. It's going to be on demand, which means that once a video is released the first day, if you couldn't watch it that day, you can go back to it. And the same with the rest of the videos in the workshop. It's going to be available March 23rd through 27th for free. And I really hope with you that I really hope that you will join us. And I'll be praying for everyone listening to this episode that you're ready to take the first step and you'll have the courage to do so. And so I also want to share that along with the workshop, there's a free Patreon community where I'll be posting homework reminders. You can meet other single moms from all over the country, maybe even all over the world, who knows, and encourage each other. And there's also a free PDF workbook because I just love interactive learning. I'm really big into journaling and writing things out. And each lesson is about 10 to 20 minutes long. So they're short, focused, straight to the point. So go sign up. The link is in the show notes, and I will see you there. That is it for this episode. I hope this challenged you, encouraged you, blessed you in any way. And thank you so much for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.